CBD. There are adverts for it everywhere, claiming it can help pain, heart disease, blood pressure, even cancer. You can even get CBD for your dog. And I often have to remove CBD spam messages from the comment sections of my videos. A lot of the claims are plainly false, or at least lacking evidence. But what about anxiety? Can CBD help anxiety? I'm going to look at what the research says about CBD for anxiety, whether CBD is safe, if it's suitable for everyone, and I'll also give you my own opinion. So don't skip ahead because you might miss something important. And you really should understand CBD or any other chemical before deciding whether to put it into your body. Before we start, I want to make clear I'm talking about CBD, not cannabis or marijuana. I'll do a separate video on that. So let's start with what is CBD. CBD is a chemical found in the cannabis plant which acts on the central nervous system. It's one of two cannabinoids found in cannabis. It's not the psychoactive part of the plant, so it does not cause euphoric feelings or have any other mind-altering effects. Basically, you can't get high on CBD. So can it help anxiety disorders, and if so, which ones? In my search for an answer, I found this review of the evidence for the efficacy of CBD for anxiety disorders. It said, overall, preclinical evidence supports systematic CBD as an acute treatment of GAD, social anxiety disorder, panic disorder, OCD, and PTSD. And points out that CBD has the advantage of not producing anxiogenic effects at higher dose. In layman's terms, that means that the evidence they reviewed suggests that it can help a range of anxiety disorders, and as the dose increases, it does not start actually increasing anxiety, which some other cannabinoids can. Note the research also says that as the dose increases, the effectiveness gets less, so more is not better. It also said that CBD has anxiolytic, panicolytic, and anticompulsive actions, suggesting it could help anxiety, panic disorder, and OCD. It also talks about CBD acting to decrease fear expression and enhance fear extinction. Fear extinction means it helps your fear of something diminish with time. This all sounds great, but there are some caveats. Note the word preclinical evidence. Preclinical research typically involves mainly animal tests and answers only basic questions about safety. However, the review also looked at some human studies and concluded, evidence from human studies strongly supports the potential for CBD as a treatment for anxiety disorders. However, the studies were limited to experimentally induced anxiety in people who did not have anxiety disorders, except for one study which did use people with social anxiety disorder. Another study, again on people without anxiety disorders, also showed that CBD enhanced fear extinction, suggesting potential for the treatment of PTSD or for enhancing cognitive behavioral therapy. So, although there is not much evidence on the effects of CBD on people who actually have anxiety disorders, it certainly seems to have potential. But is CBD safe? And are there any side effects? On this topic, the review said, a review of potential side effects in humans found that CBD was well tolerated across a wide dose range, with no reported psychomotor slowing, negative mood effects, or vital sign abnormalities noted. It goes on to say, human experimental findings support preclinical findings, and also suggest a lack of anxiogenic effects, minimal sedative effects, and an excellent safety profile. However, it points out that most research has been done on healthy subjects using CBD only in the short term. Safety evidence for long-term use and in a relevant clinical population, like people who have anxiety disorders, is lacking. To my knowledge, CBD has only been approved by the FDA in America for a rare form of epilepsy, so most of the robust trials with side effect data are based on that, although there have been some trials on patients with psychosis. This review found that the most common side effects were tiredness, diarrhea, and changes of appetite and weight, but it still confirmed a favourable safety profile. However, it emphasised that some important toxicological parameters are yet to be studied, for example, if CBD has an effect on hormones. It also said that more clinical trials with a greater number of participants and long-term CBD administration are still lacking. My concern here is that I know a lot of people with anxiety disorders are taking antidepressants known as SSRIs, and there could be an interaction between the CBD and SSRIs, as they work in very similar ways. So I did some more research and found this study which stated, using cannabidiol likely increases sertraline and citalopram concentration in adolescents and may increase the risk of concentration-related SSRI side effects. Other studies have shown that age, sex, and background of exposure may have an impact on how animals or humans react to CBD, so the effect and side effects may vary between people. In the US and the UK, it's perfectly legal to sell or buy CBD, but can only be marketed as a treatment for some very specific conditions, like certain types of epilepsy. It cannot be marketed as a treatment for anxiety. So let me summarise and give you my own opinion on CBD for anxiety. The research on CBD for anxiety is promising, but there is not enough safety evidence for long-term use, or evidence based on large numbers of people with anxiety disorders to say if it is effective or not. It may also interact negatively with existing anxiety medications, and like most drugs, different people will react in different ways to it. Finally, for my personal opinion, I understand that when you are suffering anxiety, you want something that will fix it quickly, and may be willing to try anything. The problem is there is no quick fix for anxiety, and taking CBD can just become another safety behaviour, something I discuss in many of my videos. And safety behaviours just fuel anxiety and stop you doing the very things that will improve your anxiety. When you add to that the insufficient long-term safety data, risk of interaction with other medications, and limited clinical evidence for people with anxiety disorders, I would not personally recommend CBD. Of course, it's a personal decision, and don't just take my word for it, do your own research. But be careful of the resources you use. Anyone selling CBD cannot be considered impartial, and may be tempted to exaggerate the claims and the safety. If you have found this video useful, give me a like, and if you're new to my channel, you will find hundreds of videos on how to naturally treat or manage different anxiety disorders in my playlists. Take care now.